this. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon. And this is still Mace Fundamentals and Flow. I'm going to pop on my slideshow. I'll show you the plan once we get in there. Uh, Still Mace Fundamentals and Flow. Content only, share, and present. Cool. So if you have any questions or anything, just say so. Cool. So this is our workshop, Still Makes Fundamentals in Flow. And here we go. So our agenda for today is we're gonna do a little intro. Feel like most of y'all know me at this point. Talk about the mace, rack position. We're gonna do a quick strength warm up. So when we start swinging the mace, our bodies are ready. And then we're gonna do run throughs of the swings, 360s and 10 to 2s, and then work through different lunge variations, squat variations, and upper body strength variation exercises. And then we'll do some combos, how to build that into flows, how we can incorporate Mace into training, and then what we do after this workshop. Um, Sweet. So, hi, I'm Tiffany. If you're here, you probably know that. I've been training and coaching since 2017. I love unconventional training. I first started using the mace back in 2017, and then I got my own mace, and I've been kind of swinging it ever since. It's that 10-pound mace I've been carrying around with me from city to city, state to state. And I have incorporated in my own training, my clients' training, and I think it's a great tool that gets underutilized and is only ever utilized for swings when it can be a lot more than that. So let's talk about the mace. There's a few different kinds of maces. Obviously, we have like the gatas. There's like different shaped ones. I'm expecting most of us have the like normal one that looks like this in the image here. But for the sake of today, we have our handle here, and then we have the mace head or globe or bell. Um, we'll kind of interchange that while I'm talking through technique. But the technique will slightly vary if you're using like a bamboo gada versus like an actual steel mace. I also linked, so when you have the replay, a video from the Sorensens, Bill and Steph Sorensen, who are lovely, a video about how to like make your own gada if that's something you're interested in. So that's there for you when we do the replay. So let's talk about the rack position. Um, the rack position is where we want to return each between each rep of the swing. For 360s or 10 to 2s, it's going to be like a little bit like faster sometimes, right? But we want to try to like come back down into this packed position. Our hands are towards your navel, belly button, whatever. Your core is engaged and your arms are tight to your body. If they're far away, you're gonna like lose control of it. And then we're also wanting to make sure we're nice and low, so we have a place to push off from to initiate the swing itself. And also, if we're doing 360s, whichever hand is on top is the way that the mace should go. Makes it really easy because this feels really awkward versus this. So, as we're practicing, and I have my little club here, this feels a lot easier than this. And that'll change a little bit when we're doing like the 10 to 2s and things as well. Sweet. We don't really need to do anything else here. We're gonna do a quick warm up. If you've been any of my other workshops, you kind of know what we're gonna do right now. Want to make sure we're all ready. Um, Chair out of the way. Cool. So we're gonna start um on the ground here. Gonna do some cat cows. I want to take a second to get to where they need to be. Cool. Then inhale, look up. Exhale, nice curve in the spine. Inhale up and exhale down. Gonna run through a few breaths here. Inhale up And exhale. Down one more time. Up and down. Come back to center. We're going to do some scat push-ups. So big circles with your shoulders here. Keep your elbows locked out. Might be a little bit, crunchy as we're going through this movement. But big shoulder circles in one direction. Give yourself 5 to 8 to 10 reps, and then we're going to switch directions. We're doing Mace stuff. It's always nice to give your shoulders a little extra time because we're going to be putting them in positions that they're maybe not super comfortable with. Then we're going to do little push-ups, little scat push-ups. Elbows stay locked out, but you're sinking down, bringing those shoulder blades together, and then taking them apart. Perfect. Then we're going to bring the shoulders up to your ears and then down your back. Make sure you're breathing through these movements. Perfect. From here, we're going to tuck our toes and then bring our hips up nice and high into a downward dog. We're just going to pedal it out a little bit. Make sure you're breathing. From here, we're going to take a big step forward, however you need to get here. And then we're going to open it up with a twist. Oh my goodness, I see a puppy on the screen. We love a dog workout buddy. Give yourself a few rotations. Exhale into that twist so you can deepen the stretch. If we get one more here. Hello, puppies. And we'll step back however you need to get here, and we'll meet you here, paddling it out. And take a big step forward and do the other side. I'm going to turn so you can see me and hear me, so I'm not turned away. Big twists. Give myself one more here. And then come back to center in our downward dog. And we're going to walk it forward. You can do this part standing. We're going to do some shoulder cars from the floor here. You can also do standing, like I said. Arms straight up, pushing back, making sure we're not cranking our body back. Trying to find that range of motion, turning, and bringing palm out on the outside. Kick the thumb back, find that range of motion, big turn. Find that you're just really trying to find and work this through at your own pace, those sticking points, and then working through them. So we're increasing that range of motion in your shoulder, which is going to be really important because we're going to do some mace swings, and that's pretty shoulder heavy. If there's any point that feels like extra crunchy, feel free to sit in that for an extra second and work through it. I'm going to switch to the other side. Make sure we're really reaching back so you're going through this shoulder car. I don't know if you can hear my shoulders popping. I clearly haven't stretched yet today. Find those sticking points. And try to just increase that range of motion. It'll only make your lifts better, but also it'll make your life just feel better. From here, we're going to come back down to our quad position. We're going to do a quad hip car. Controlled articular rotations. We're going to bring the knee to the elbow, open it up into like a fire hydrant, pick the heel up, drive the knee to the elbow, pick the heel up, fire hydrant, and back down. And that's one rep. We're gonna do that for a few times. Make sure you're breathing through this motion. Kick the heel up, drive the elbow, kick it up. Find those ranges that feel a little bit sketchy, feel a little bit tight. Just increasing range of motion, getting your hips prepped for good work. We're going to go again on the other side as well. Drive the knee to the elbow. Fire hydrant. Kick it up to the knee. Or to the elbow, to the knee. Kick it up. Fire hydrant. Back down. This feels tough. That's totally normal. It's a group of joints that is generally pretty tight because we sit a lot. So this is a really good one, even if you're not strength training. I do this one all the time. Cool. And let's do thread the needle while we're down in this. Going to go into this quad position and twist. The offhand can go wherever you want it to go. If you bring it to your opposite hip, it'll increase that stretch. You can also go on the front of you. It's all about finding what feels good for you. Once that side feels good, go to the other side. We'll go through it one more time each side. Because once you hit one side, sometimes the other side opens up a little bit more. Let's go back to that first side. Get a few rounds of breath in here. Using that exhale to sink into that stretch a little bit deeper. Last thing on this other side. Big stretch. Few rounds of breath here. Inhale and exhale. Deepen that stretch if you can. And whenever you're ready, you can come back to center. Hopefully we're feeling a little bit more prepped to do all sorts of really fun stuff with our steel mace. That's my hope, at least. It's my, I know when I send you the replay, I'll link you my full warm-up routine as well. All right. Now, pop back into the slideshow, and we'll start breaking down the 360. Okay. Share. Perfect. Okay. So the 360, this is like kind of your bread and butter. Make sure everyone's here, right? Cool. This is kind of your bread and butter of steel mace. This is sort of like the go-to exercise of steel mace. 360 means we're going to go in one direction. We're going to go over the 10 to 2, and that means you're going back the way you came every rep. But 360, everything's in a circle, right? Make sure your hand is behind your head in the backswing. Don't want it up here because you're not in the right position and you're not gonna get as much of that pendulum swing. As we're going for this, you're going to have your position down here, bring the mace over, push it up and out to initiate that swing. let the mace swing behind you, and pull back down. Um, Main thing here is not to over control the mace's momentum, because the more you control it, the less it is a swing, right? It turns into like a weird halo. Um, and also notice that like there's like a little pause here in that well, it's good that I stopped stopped it right at the end. There's a little pause here in uh the that mace, the like bottom of that rack position. Um We also want the mace to stay pretty close to our body. I know a lot of times when we're doing mace swings, there's like a fear that you're going to hit yourself. If we're going out to the side laterally and then bringing it back, you're much less likely to hit yourself with the mace. Mainly when people like whack themselves with the mace, it's because they're going straight over the back. And that's coming back because the mace is just like all out of control and it's coming back and whacking them. Sometimes you might like side swipe your butt as you're going through, but that just means you're in nice and close. And it's pretty easy to adjust. And also, generally, we're not using like super heavy maces, especially if we're learning the movement. So it won't get you too bad. It'll just be like, oh, I got myself. So you want to keep the mace in really close to your body, nice and tight, bringing it down into that rack position. And top hand is the direction that you're going. As you can see, I just did like a little swap in this slow-mo. We're going to push it over the one side, and then we're going to let that momentum come through. It'll hit a little float point, and then we're going to pull it back down into the position. And if there's any questions at any point, feel free to pop up or drop a message, and I'm super happy to stop. We're going to practice this in just a second. So pendulum swing, this is us just practicing, with me just practicing, showing you where that float point is. As you jump it over, there should be like a float, right? Pause this one. Little float points, just like when we're doing like a kettlebell swing. Yes, feel free to hop in and let me know what the question is. Or you can drop it in the chat, that's also fine. Whatever works for you and your comfort level. But as you're swinging, there's a float point just like when there's a swing, and you're just going to use that float to pull it into the position in front of your body. And if you want to like unmute yourself, you totally can. Okay. Do you want to ask a question or no? Okay. Yes. Oh wait.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Could you maybe spend, it doesn't have to be right now, but at some point will you go over you feel the benefits are that mace training brings to other exercises like kettlebell?
Yes, I definitely have a section on that. Don't worry. I'm on it.
Oh,
Um,
oh, and I have to say, good Halloween themology also.
yes, I had to. We had to do a Halloween theme. Maybe so I can actually see some people
I have
that.
a question.
Yes, go.
Uh, when you do the 360, so the grab position, should the hand be a little bit lower?
So it depends on like where you're at skill level. So like when you're first learning, you're gonna be choked up a little bit higher on the mace. Or if you're going like heavier for the first time, you'll probably be choked up higher. Um, like here's my little 5 pounder. Um, you can be choked up here when you're first practicing. As you get more skill, you'll go lower and you'll get more of a swing, versus like when you're first starting to like.
No, but I mean that your hand, your grab position have to be like lower around your belly button. So your arm, your front arm kind of straight out a little bit, especially your lower arm.
Do you mean like in the rack, like so in the rack position where my hands are supposed to be?
Yeah.
So when you're doing the swings, you're like tapping the rack position
Mm-hmm.
versus like going into a full like rack position. And we're gonna practice it. So you're going like tap in versus like pause, hold the rack. Um, so you'll kind of just tap. You don't have to be as like intense about that when you're practicing, when you're doing like a movement. especially for like the 10 to 2, you won't actually like fully hit the like full rack position because you're kind of using the momentum to dump it right back where you came from. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show you this slow-mo of the pendulum too. Um, so when you dump it over the shoulder, bring it over, and we'll practice this too, just like finding that float point so you're not having to use so much energy to redirect the um the weight of the mace, which becomes harder and harder depending on the level or the weight of the bell and where you're holding the mace. But if you get this little pendulum, a little tick tock here, you can just use that to pull it right into the right position. Um, and momentum, like I've been talking about a lot. The goal here is like fluidity. It's like a kettlebell swing. If we do like a lift where we're not using the momentum at all, it turns into like a weird lateral lift. Um, Whereas we do it here, we're turning into like a weird tricep extension or halo, which is not what we're trying to do. We're going to be working our triceps, obviously, but we want to make sure that we're using that momentum and breathing through it. So let's take a second to practice our 360s.
Mm.
And I'll show you guys, show you all in real time because I know it's um, a lot of slow-mo here. So we're here in this rack position, then we're going to bring it over. I'm gonna take my other arm to show you. Bring it over, and we're going to dump it. Once it hits that float point, pull it right into position. And you can do this real time. I'm just trying to show it. um, so from this angle, we're here in this rack position, up and out, throw it, and then pull it. If this is your first time using mace, a little higher will help. Um, and make sure you're kind of like letting your body turn with it. So like here, we're turning and then pulling. So it's an upper body is pulling with you, little core movement. Yeah, everything's always gonna fall over. And make sure we're breathing also. Holding your breath doesn't make it easier, I promise. Lovely. And good. Bring it down to that rack position. You can feel that pull in this rack position, push and pull. Anyone has questions, you can pop on and say so.
When you push it,
You take from here, you push it over into into your side. So
and if you change directions, you have to switch your hand position.
I mean, I do. You always have like a side that you prefer. And in the sake of like practicing, if there's a side that feels better when we're practicing, like stick with it. But this feels a lot. Oh, that's not the right way. This feels less comfortable than this does because you're kind of not working with what your body feels comfortable with. So I always just do like a little swap. Um, you can kind of just play once you're in this rack position, and if you want to, you can always just like bring it up from the floor, um, and put it in position, especially if we're doing 360s where you're staying in the same direction. So you start here on the floor, and then you bring it up, bring your hand down. If you're trying to like change size, you can also just do it from here, like a ballistic curl. You got it. Good. Just a little bit less muscling and just let that make swing. So like let's
Good.
practice that like pendulum where you're just sort of dumping it and letting it float. Use your body to like help initiate that float drive. Yeah. And drive with your legs a little bit too. Right now you're staying really locked in, you're here. You see what I'm going? I'm sort of like picking up with my feet to help with that drive, right? You don't have to stay planted. It's not a hard style swing, right? So use your whole body to help drive into that position. And then there's a float and you pull right into your rack position. Let's see. Lovely. Is any questions coming up here?
Guys, so fast. I'm like, oh my God.
We have plenty of time. And also,
Yeah.
I will just practice with you again.
Yeah.
We'll get more in there. It's tough too, so if you've never done anything like this, because what other time are we in this position? Like this position is
Halo.
exactly. And like that's the only other time. And that's a very controlled motion, right? So your body's like, oh, we're here. We need to be in control.
Yeah.
But it's the same motion. So we're
Yeah.
here, right? So it's just now we have to do it way faster. And your body's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
It is actually much easier if you hold higher, though.
Yeah, it's easier. It's
I
easier to
couldn't
go.
do it holding at the end.
No,
Yeah.
like, and when you're first starting, you won't be able to do it at the very end. You kind of
I
have to.
mean, I could get it. I just couldn't get it back, right? It
Mhm.
swings great, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's when we're first doing it, you kind of have to you have to choke up quite a lot so you can feel
Yeah.
out that momentum, but you still kind of can do that like yeah, that's it. I think even let it go out even further, you're still kind of doing like a halo type swing. So like let it like get that float almost. And we're dumping it sideways and versus like when we do a halo, right, we're in really tight. We kind of want to cast it out so we have the space to pull.
Oh,
Because when we're doing a halo, right, I'm gonna use my club here. We're doing a halo, this is where we are. We're really tight. We don't want to be out because that's a crazy position to be in with a kettlebell. But with a mace, we want to be out and then in. So like giving yourself that space, like really exaggerating because it's gonna feel kind of insane. Um, so like you're pushing it up and then back, up and then back. Oh, your swings look great, Dan. Lovely. That looks good. How's everyone feeling right now? Good?
Not
Weird?
it
really,
is.
not really used to it, so it's a little uncomfortable. But
It's a little awkward to start. I mean, I think if you've signed up, you've seen my old videos that I've posted as part of the promotion for this, where I'm like straight up like doing insane tricep extensions. They're not swings at all. And that was like my first time using a steel mace, right? So like it's a totally normal experience to feel like this does not feel entirely right. And that's cool. Um, like anything, and this is like once again my annoying coach side is like sometimes you just have to do the reps, right? And you have to like practice the reps and it'll start to feel more comfortable. But as long as we're going here, pushing it off, going out in this position, behind the head, and getting and then like really getting your elbow, like your hands are like, I'm like back here in the backswing, right? Um, versus like up here, because up here you won't get as much pendulum. Like if I'm up here, this is a lot harder to like get any pull versus here, the pull is a lot easier to create because your elbows are helping you versus here. Then you have to do like a weird crank with your elbows. But if your hands are like almost at like the base of your head, um, then you get a lot more swing. There you go. Feel that pendulum. Breathe through it. I think Misty go like a little bit lower so that way you can get some swing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not
That's
always
it.
clear who you're talking to.
Oh, I said Misty. Sorry. I can't quite see your hands. You're in the
You're obscured, yes.
a little bit. And I think you're doing beautiful swings up there, Fan. So great. Do we have any other questions that we can try out the 10 to 2s as well? Or do we want to keep practicing our 360s? Obviously, when we're doing 10 to 2s, we can also practice the 360s still if that's where we're at. Cool. All right, let's do some 360s then. I'll show you guys. Um, oh, you did say the second one. Okay, so um, where is the share button? All right. Okie doke. So the 10 to 2. So remember that pause we're kind of taking in that 360? Now we're going to use that to change the direction. 10 to 2, we're hitting the 10 and 2 position like on a clock, right? So you're not going to be totally straight in that rack position. You're going to kind of pull it and then go right back the way you came. We're still hitting that backswing the same way we do with the 360. We're still getting our elbows up. Our hands are still behind the head and the base of the skull, and we're still doing all of that. The only thing is we're not going in the same direction. You can switch your hands every rep if you want to. As you like progress, that'll be easier to do. Um, but for now, just pick whichever hand feels good and practice that way, and then alternate after however many reps. Um, so you're not like creating insane muscle imbalances. But use that rack position pause. We're sitting here to initiate back. And you're not going to be like, you don't have to come all the way back to center. You're going to be at an angle and then shoot it back the way you came. I don't think I have anything else on attended to, do I? I do not. All right. So let's see our 10 to 2s or 360s, whichever you're feeling. Yeah. So in our rack position, and then we're in this hole, and then you're just going to go back the way you came. 360, shoot it back the way you came. This one is a little bit harder than our 360 because you don't get to build momentum with every rep. You kind of have to restart the momentum with every single rep. So it can be a lot trickier to like find like a rhythm versus with a 360, it's pretty easy once you like feel comfortable with it to find that rhythm where you can just keep going with it. With this, you're having to basically reset your momentum every single rep. So I'll give you a little side angle here. We're in our starting position, and then you shoot it and pull it. And then this weird 10 to 2 position, we're going to drive with the elbow, drive with the shoulders, shoot it, and pull it. Back in this angled position, shoot it, and pull it. If you need to choke up a little bit so you can feel like you have a little bit more control over the weight, that's totally cool. And also, please make sure you're not holding your breath through the entire reps. There we go. I see some breath. Lovely. Yeah, so and if you've only done with like one hand on top, try it with your other hand. See if that feels better or worse or where it feels better or worse. My right hand on top always feels way more natural. But it's good to have practice going both sides. Like you see, I have this like weird angle here, and I'm just driving it, the elbows, and then out. Driving and out. As long as we're not shooting like directly back where we're like hitting ourselves, then you're on the right track, even if it doesn't feel 100% natural right this second. Because as you learn, as your body becomes more adept at this motion, that is a very sport specific motion, right? It'll start to feel more and more natural, less and less like super weird and super awkward. How's everyone feeling with our swings? Good. Yeah, your swings look solid. Is there any questions about any parts of the swings as we keep going along with this? No? Okay. We'll have plenty of time. We're gonna practice a bunch of things. A lot of them will incorporate swings, so you'll have plenty of time to do this, to keep working on these. Okay, so now we're gonna do the hand switch. So hand switch is going to be important for doing like a bunch of the regular strength training exercises and also just like convenient little skill to have. Basically, we want to you don't have to go like I know I'm kind of rushing it in the slow-mo here. Make sure that like one hand is on the mace at all times. We're not like I have one hand that kind of picks up. And you're meeting, grab this one. You're meeting kind of at the top here, like in a prayer position, and then coming back. You want underhand by the mace head and overhand at the bottom. We're bringing it up, bringing it down. And this is going to come in handy for like direction switches, and basically like every like other exercise if we're changing hands, changing directions or anything. But come meet up to the top and then pull apart. And then also you want to make sure you're creating tension here. We're not just like lazily holding it. You're like pulling the mace apart to create that tension through your upper body. Don't mind me, I'm just hitting my desk as I'm trying to demo in my little video. Um, so, yep, bring it and pull it. We're going to practice this with a bunch of the other exercises, so I'm not going to do a full pause on this one, but make sure you have make sure you have control of it and make sure you're getting it parallel with the ground and you're creating that tension through the mace. Looks good. All right, now let's do the fun part. We're gonna go through a bunch of lunge variations. I'm gonna do it in the order that is on the thing. So when you the slides, so when we go through and when you like rewatch this, you can have the slides up and know what we're doing. And yeah, so first one we have is reverse lunge. There are two ways we can do a reverse lunge. So we can do our fabulous little hand switch. You're here, reverse lunge. And then you stay on one arm or one leg, or you could alternate every rep, right? Down and down. Whichever version of that you want to do. I tend to stay on one side before moving on to the next side because otherwise the mace is, I automatically want to do this every rep because it feels natural to me at this point. So down, up, down as I switch the mace. The mace switches and I drop down to my lunge. And then we can also do a reverse lunge like this double overhand grip here. And then we're going to step back and bring the mace down, up and down. So we're coming from these bent elbow position, almost like a rack position here, right? And then straight arms. And that creates a lot more full body of the exercise. And then we can also turn this into a swing position as well, which we'll do a little bit later. You want the mace head to be pointed backwards. So we're here, whichever leg is back, the mace is pointed back. So this is where the weight is.
Well,
And also, do your hand switch. All right. Or you can go all one side. You want to have a double overhand grip, Misty. Like this. So double overhand. With the thumbs up on both.
I was switching though.
Oh, yeah. Then you have to, but you still want to, when you get into the back, you switch and then switch back.
Oh, okay.
So you can get into that back position. Because we want to end up thumbs pointing down, lunge here. So from we're here to here, basically. So holding like a thumbs, palms open, palms facing camera, basically, to down. Palms facing camera to down. Lovely. Any questions on that one? Cool. Next, we're going to do tactical or uppercut lunge. I learned it as tactical lunge. I see it now everywhere as uppercut lunge. So that one, we're going to start here in that position we just were in. So this is where we're starting both overhand here. And then we're going to step forward into a forward lunge. So switch your grip a little bit. Yeah. So your hands are like this, right? So now we're yep, that's the ticket. And then we're going to step forward and we're going to end up in an uppercut. So here, lunge forward, uppercut. You want your elbows to be in a like cactus position almost. So we're uppercut. If we're not up for the lunge yet, you can just do an uppercut. Drop the elbow, so you're gonna bring the elbow up, and then here, this angle. We're on the opposite side of our face, so we're going rotational. Yeah, perfect. Get a little rotation. Keep the elbow nice and low, like across your chest versus across your face. There it is. Across the chest, we're getting a little rotation. Looks good. There it is. That's great. And then, when you feel comfortable, if you want, you go forward lunge. Feels very powerful. Ooh. It's a lot of lunges in a row, so I know we're probably gonna get fatigued at some
I
point.
know, I don't know why I couldn't catch this, but which side is the mace head on when you do the lunge, when your back leg's back or
So it's a forward lunge, so the mace head will be forward. So we're starting with the back, just like we did with the reverse lunge, right? So we're here. And then as you step forward, the mace head is up here in the front. Or back and forward. So switch it, Misty, switch it. So, yep. And then it's double overhand. So you're double overhand. And then you'll want to bring, you're in the double overhand, bring it to like across your chest like a guard, and then up. Yeah, there it is. Gorgeous. Cool. All right, let's do the lateral lunges. Yeah, I say lateral lunges with the mace is probably one of my favorite things. It feels really, really good. So there's two ways we can do lateral lunges. We get our wide stance. We can do our hand switch one, where we stay in position, or we can do a step. But we'll start with this static one. So nice wide position. Whichever leg is long is the way that the mace head is pointed towards. So your mace head is pointed towards the long leg. You switch it, mace head is pointed towards the long leg. Over under grip on this one, just like we were doing with the hand switch. So hand switch, pull it apart and down. Create that tension, push it down. You're gonna start with your arms like at an angle, and then as you go, the long leg, that leg is going to have a long arm as well. And then up. That's better. A little wider in the stance too is helpful here. Because this is like we're not moving, so you want to have nice wide. Like if you're doing like a crappy one run warm up outside, right? You're just doing this. You're doing that, but now you have a mace. We have that over under grip. We're doing the hand switch. We're creating that tension. So at the top, we're gonna have it parallel with the ground every single rep. You want to meet here with your mace like a butt across your chest, nice and high. Here and down, up and down, and down. See if it angle does anything. So the non-mace bell side, the elbow will go up, and the handle's gonna go up. And then the mace bell side, we're all about creating that tension through the arm, through the core, through the leg. Make sure we're getting to a nice, like, actual, like, lateral lunge where we're pushing the hips back. Lovely. And then we can also do this with a step. So we have the shift, we also have the step. So you're in that same position, the hand switch position, and then you'll switch, big step out. Up, big step out. Switch as you're coming up, big step out. For dramatic effect, if you're doing the flow, you bring the knee up and then like step out so it feels like very controlled and powerful. If you're doing it for like strength training, you don't have to be as dramatic about it. You can just get right into it. Practicing that step. How's that feeling? I know lateral lunges are not like on everybody's training.
Yeah, I'm having footwear problems, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't really do lateral things in regular shoes, generally speaking. So we're barefoot today. But main thing with the lateral lunge is you want the bent leg to have a bent arm and the straight leg to have a straight arm. And as you're in this bottom position, you're trying to like pull the mace apart. Okay, so we're creating this pull, and that's what makes it way more full body than like a kettlebell lateral lunge.
Way more what, sorry?
Full body.
Okay.
Versus like when you're doing like a kettlebell one, you're holding the rack, you're coming here. With this, you're creating even more pull through your core and through your upper body. Oh, you're over and under. You started with two. I know there's a lot of different hand position.
Yeah.
So when we're doing the hand switch position, under by the mace head, over by the bottom of the handle. Yep, that's what we want. You can always like go slower, meet at the top in like a prayer position, and then go back down. Lovely. Um, the next one is a dragon lunge or curtsy lunge. I recently found I think dragon lunge just sounds a lot cooler, so that's what I use most of the time these days. Nobody wants to do a curtsy lunge, but dragon lunges are cool. So we can do our switch curtsy lunge where we're here, curtsy, dragon, whatever you want to call it. It's the same. It's exactly what you would expect, right? So we're in our position here, in our hand switch position, and then you'll drop it down. And honestly, you could just do it right here. Like you could just stay in one position and do it all on one side while you're learning, especially. Um, but if you want a little extra, you can add a switch and add that curtsy lunge or dragon lunge. um, just exactly as long as you're, and always when we're doing anything with the switch, over under grip, under by the mace head, over by the handle, and then switch it as you're, yep, and pull it apart. Great. And you just do your, um, and depending on what you're working on, you can have the mace head on the side you're lunging on or opposite. Um, just sort of depends on you and what your goals are there.
This is revealing lots of weaknesses. I love it. Just what I do.
There's like yeah. Yeah. It's got a lot of different ways you can use it, and it makes you kind of like think and like focus in. So lunge is really nice for like creating like a flow because you're like you get so focused on the movement, you can kind of just like block everything else out, which is really, really nice. So you can also do it like with a like reverse grip. This is gonna be a different grip, I know. So we're gonna start in this switch grip, and then you're going to take the back side and you're going to push it. So you're holding it like this. So we're here, under by the mace head, over by the handle, and push it so we're like this. Yep. And you're gonna have it straight up by your arm. And then as you're doing that, you're stepping into your lunge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's it. That's the right position. And you're stepping towards the side, right? So if you're pushing it this way, the lunge is happening this way. Yep. So this side's half going this way, the leg is going this way. Yeah, there we go. You switch it. But you're pushing this side and lunging that side. Lovely. I mean, and also curtsy lunges are just like not easy lunges, and we've done 5 other lunges already. So if your legs are starting to feel it, we're starting with the lunges, and then we don't have to do more lunges after this. And then they'll be a little bit easier. Figured I wouldn't end with lunges, so everyone, hated me at the end of this workshop. How's that one feel? Yeah, I like that one a lot. Over under, push it. The next one, and you just get really in that pocket with it. Cool. This one's, if your swings aren't up, feeling awesome, this one probably isn't for you, but I want to make sure you have it in your repertoire for future. I'm gonna go on the floor, and then you're going to do 10 to 2s and step up. So as we're coming around, step up. Oh, kind of out of frame. So 10 to 2 and step.
Oh, okay.
And then up. So you're doing a lot of steps as you go. Straight from the side. Whichever side you're passing, that's the leg that comes up. And really works the hips as you're going. So if you're going to the right leg is stepping up. Passing and then stepping. And then as you pass it back, down and up with the other side. If you want, you can add like an extra as well where you're not doing the lunge. So you're here, you step, and then you can kind of stay on one side. And then work on the other side. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. That. How does that one feel? I know this one's weird. This one's a lot of coordination, especially if this is your first day using a mace or early days of using a mace. And also like being on your knees doesn't always feel great. But there's always like ways we can build and things we can get to as we're using equipment. So just wanted to show that there's more uh, than just like the basic swings. You can add a lot of really cool things to make swings even more exciting and more interesting. We can also do a double lunge. So that means you do a lunge back and a big step forward. Hand switch on the way up. I promise we're almost done with lunges and then we won't have to do any more lunges. No, I won't say that because we're going to do a flow at some point. We'll have to do this many lunges in a row for the rest of the workshop. So, well, even without the mace, right? It's just forward lunge with your right leg, big step all the way back, reverse lunge, right? So if you, a little bit of coordination practice. So lunge back, knee up, step forward, lunge back. If you need to, you can always pause, tap too. Like that's always an option when you're practicing these moves. You don't have to like do the big step. You can go lunge back, pause, lunge forward for balance purposes.
Could you do that with the mace again, please?
Yes. So I'll go lunge back. Oh, wrong leg. Lunge back. Lunge forward. Lunge back. Lunge forward. Lunge back. Tap. Lunge forward. That hand switch happening in that like midpoint. Like I said, you can also pause and stop in that position. So you can do that switch easier or catch your breath or work on the balance of it all. It's a tough one, especially at the end of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lunges. Cool. We have one lunge left. This one's pretty easy, or at least pretty straightforward. Overhead lunge. You're just gonna bring it overhead and lunge. Super, super straightforward. I tend to have the weight on the side that the knee is up. So like that. But you can do it the other way. This one's pretty straightforward. Mace lunge wise, not a lot of grip, it's double overhand grip, right? And then when you get a little bit up, you can also turn it into a swing position as well. But we'll get there. Here we go. I do these ones as reverse lunges. Um, I do any overhead lunge reverse because I'm eventually trying to get it into like being better at Turkish get-ups. So, how I feel? That's a lot of lunges, I know. So I did do a workout before this. We're lunging today. Next we're gonna do squat variations. Oh, um, I lost you guys for a sec. There you are. Next we'll do squat variations. Cool. So squat variations, we're gonna do a switch squat. So this one's I really love for warm-up purposes. Um, and it is exactly what you think it is. Where I practice our switching. So get in your squat position, switch, squat, switch, squat. It's really quick, right? Make sure mainly you're creating that tension through the mace. We're not like rowing a boat or something here. Our core is engaged. Love for me. You want underhand grip, overhand grip. For any switch stuff. Underhand by the mace head, overhand the end of the handle. Nice. There we go. Nice work. Those are switch squats. Next we have battle squats. Um, they might be called something different if you talk to somebody else. But for me, it's this, arms out, and squat. On this one, you might want to choke up a little bit so the mace doesn't like come and bonk you. So, and you can also have a little bend in your elbow, whatever you need to do. But eventually, you should be like out here. The mace head will be kind of pointed, angled towards you, and then you're down and up. Yep, that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I can do them.
What was that?
Yeah, I can do them.
Yeah. Hey, wait, you're working hard here. This is all we've done so much work already in this, this workshop. But that one's pretty straightforward as far as like technique goes. Eventually you try to be like at the bottom, like full arm straightened, and that's like super core work. Um, Offset, um, you kind of just if you have like a heavier mace, so if I'm using this one, it goes a little bit more unruly. You just have it on one shoulder and down. You can kind of do all your reps. Also pretty straightforward technique wise. You don't want it to be like up here. You're just kind of angling it down so the weight is doing the work it needs to.
So speaking of heavier maces,
Yes,
how do you feel about adjustable maces?
I think they're really cool. I would get one, but they're like really expensive. CK Maceworks keeps being like, you should buy one of our maces, and I was like,
Who?
CK Maceworks, they make an adjustable mace.
I know about 8X. I don't know about CK Works.
Yeah, see, I think it's CK. Yeah, they have a great, there's, I really like the ones also that you can clip to your kettlebells. Kelly Manzone, Kel's Bells has one. You can like, it's like literally like a little clamp, and then you can have like super heavy maces with your kettlebell. You can do a lot less like flow with it, obviously, but it's really good for swings. But no, adjustable maces are cool. The 8X maces, those are slightly different too, though, because they're angled, they have like
Like,
They're not like a globe. I think you're
right.
using one. Yeah, yeah. I was like, wait, like that. They're like that. Exactly. Um, I know. And like my big heavy one was like a custom one.
Yeah.
So got like a weird like thing here. Um, and this is just like a big old a big old tube full of something. I don't know.
You can fill that made with water, right?
What was that?
The one you got there, you can fill it with water, right?
No, it's all metal. I can't fill with anything. It's all welded shut. I got this
Oh,
one from it was a gift from my friend. So Beyond Stronger or Become Stronger. Um the only thing I had issue with this one is this was a metal tube with no knurling on it. And so my
okay.
hands were getting so blistered, so I added like athletic tape for grip. Because my hands were like adjusting to more than double my 10 pound because this is 22 pounds, 10 kilos. And then also like this thing is super thick with it's literally just a pipe. Like my hands were super fried, so I medical taped it super. But it worked, it gets the job done. It's great for this. It's not as obviously fluid for me for any of the like flowy type things. But great for like the offset squats and things. Um, all right, next one. We got squat to uppercut. I have to say this one I like less than like the lunge to uppercut or tactical lunge. But you are here and down. It just feels less natural to me, like positioning wise in my body. But it is a variation that you can use if it's something that interests you or um, your your training. Switch it on there, Carol. You want the mace head in the front for the uppercut. You want to end here, right? Yeah, better. So you're starting it in the back
Oh,
here. Start here. For any of the uppercuts, start here, and then up. There. Better. Um, like I said, that one for me, I'd rather just do the lunge. Like I'd rather just do a lunge at that point because it just doesn't feel like as fluid to me when I'm doing the movement. Um, I don't feel like I have the space. Whereas when I'm doing a lunge, like I have the space. When I'm doing a squat, feels like my legs are in the way almost, in a way that doesn't feel as natural. We can do a squat press out. So as we're squatting, we're in our double overhand position here. And as you squat out, you press out. So like this, straight out from the chest. Get a little shoulder burn with your squats. Um, when you're doing these ones like in a set, just make sure you're either alternating which side has the mace head each set, or you can alternate it between each rep if you're doing like a hand switch. But pretty straightforward on that one as well. Lovely. And then we have a sumo squat and curl. So little sumo squat and curl. Right? And this one also you can do a switch. You just have to get your hand back into an under position. Um, these would be more or less effective depending on the weight of your mace. Um, so 10 pound or a 5 pound mace maybe isn't like the most effective way to do a bicep curl to build your biceps. Um, but double overhand, create that space and curl. And then we can do thrusters as well. So double overhand, down, and up. Just like a regular thruster. Um, we're not quite doing the combos yet, but you can do this thruster, down, switch, and do it on both sides if you want to. You want to add a little swing in there, and that's sort of how you create combos. Is like you just alternate sides, and now I have to do something in between each exercise. Lovely. We're almost done with leg. Well, this is actually the last leg exercise. Then your legs won't hate me as much. How's it? How are you feeling? Good? Tired? Legs on fire? I know I'm sweating a little bit back here. So, all right. Let's do upper body exercises. Woo! All right. So I can see it. Okay, so upper body exercises. Number one, archer. Y'all follow me, so you've probably seen me do archers all the time. I love an archer. So we're getting it underhand overhead, and then you're going to point it straight out. You want the elbow you don't want the elbow like angled down. You want it like up and out. And you can switch it. You want the arm out nice and straight. Should feel that all across your shoulders. Um, Main thing here is we're creating tension here with this pull, like we're like stringing a bow, right? So if we're like lazy with it, there's not as much of a benefit. So you really need to make sure you're creating the tension through the movement. You can make mace movements super easy or super hard, depending on if you're creating that tension, because if you're just sort of going through the motions, you can make it super, super easy, not a lot of work, but like this is whatever, right? We're just pushing through. But if you're going pulling through, creating tension, that's gonna start building muscles. So intention is really everything with the steel mace. You can also do uneven presses. It is exactly what you think. Just doing two arm presses with whatever weight. One side will have weight, one side won't. It'll obviously depend on the weight you're using. Try to keep it like a regular press position, right? So, we're not like out here like this. We're stacked. And you can make it even harder by like going on this side. So like this is way harder than this, right? So when you're playing with it, play around with where you want the difficulty level to be, because this creates a lot more work than this.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Have to push a lot harder here. So they're a great tool. You can scale them like in a lot of different ways to make them harder or easier. So cool. Next one we have is a kneeling press to flag pull. So whichever side your leg is up, that's the side you want the mace bell to be on for this one. So you'll press it, bring it down, flag pull. You want to make sure it's the, mace bell's here, because if you're doing it this way, you're gonna catch your leg, right? So press down to your chest, turn. Show you from this side. Press down to your chest, turn. Your hands aren't moving any like at all, so we have that over under grip, or we have the double over grip, I mean. My bad. And then pull it. Add a little extra tricep work into it. Make sure you're hitting both sides, swapping the leg. We got the hardest part out of the way first with the lunges. Now it's a little bit more manageable. But I want you had to do the like a lot of hardcore brain stuff at the beginning. Otherwise, by the end, you're you're too fried to actually practice anything. Then we have rows, which I think will make sense. So you're down like a regular row here, like that. And you can also add a rotation. So whichever, so if I'm rowing on my right side, the left side's doing that like push. And then doing a little whoop. So pull and then twist it. So it's two separate movements too. So we're going row, then twist, back, down. Row, twist, back, down. That way we're not cheating ourselves out of any of the specific parts of it. Yeah, there it is. Not a row we can do with basically anything else. Maybe a cable. You could probably do something like this with, but you know, who has cable machines in their house? So if you want, you can also do it switch, but you'll get a lot less on the like actual row of it all. So I prefer to have it the way that I showed originally. You're getting a little more. Curls, we've done a bunch of curls. So we're here, you know, it's a bicep curl. It's it's pretty straightforward on that one. Nothing too groundbreaking. It is what it is. It is an exercise that you can do though. Grave diggers. There are a few different variations and yeah, so let me just run through them. So you're gonna have it like you would for like a shovel, right? So you're gonna have an over under grip, and then this is the lunge variation. So you're gonna step forward, you're gonna dig, and you're gonna come up like a really terrible grave digging situation. You're getting dirt all over you, right? So lunge and up, lunge and up, and that's one version of a grave digger. um, Make sure you're bracing, because as you're like doing that swooping motion, can add pressure to your back on this one.
Is
Because
this
you're
the
kind
one
of, what was
you
that?
told me not to do this one,
Yeah,
right?
this one I know maybe not the move for you today. Well, I'll make you do it later. Today is not the day. If you're um so lunge forward, shovel, and up. So that's the lunge variation. We can also do a hinge variation. So gonna come down, hinge, and up. So you can just, you don't have to do a big lunge step. Almost like we're kind of doing like a swing position, right? So we're here and up. But main thing is you are swinging the dirt over your head in a way that would be wildly inefficient if you were actually digging a grave. Um, but the shoveling motion is presumably similar. And then our last one, it's like a 3/4 stance. So you're got one foot back, one foot forward. So kind of like the hinge one, but less squared off. And swinging it up. This one's like not quite an upper body. It is obviously you're using like your upper body on that swing, but depending on the type of gravedigger that you're doing, it might be more lower body. Like the lunge one is probably more lower body, but like the 3/4 stance and the hinge one, you're The most inefficient grave digging you can possibly do, though. More curls. So we can do a switch. We're just doing, oh, not bad. Here, switch, down. So we're doing a curl to come up. So it's a much faster version of that hand switch. Yeah. And then that feels a little easy. You can turn it to more full body, coming all the way down and then switching. All the way down and switching. If you're going a little heavier, if you have more maces, if your mace is heavier, this might be nicer with a heavier weight. Down. You're getting your hip hinge in there. Yeah. I think this is probably the best version of a curl with the mace, personally. This does not feel like just get a kettlebell or dumbbell, you know, if you want to do regular curls, unless you're like with super limited equipment. But this is nice. It gives you a little bit more of your heart gets pumping a little bit more than just like biceps. The uppercut, we've done uppercuts before lots of times at this point, but you can do them just as upper body. Or if you're just like practicing that motion as well. So we're in this double overhand position in the back, and then you want to come across your body and pull cactus arms down. Across the body, cactus arms. You want to get full straight arms in the back, so that way you're getting that full range of motion. So pull and pull. Elbows nice and high. Yeah. We've done uppercuts a bunch of different ways here. A nice 90-degree hold in this position, the top of your uppercut. That's where you want to be. Offset bridge presses. Bridge presses are off the floor. You're probably using a bench press as well. I honestly just don't have a bench. So base over your head and then just do like a chest press. However you can even do a floor press. But you get a little bit more range of motion with the bridge press. And doesn't really matter which side you start on with the mace head as long as you switch it halfway through your reps. We're almost through all the like do all the work things, and then we get to do a little bit more fun stuff too. I'm sure you're all doing great, but I actually can't see a thing that's happening. I bet it looks really good though. I have full confidence in all of your abilities to do a floor press. We have a plank and pull and thread the needle. We'll start with the plank and pull. Get into your plank position, and then your opposite arm will come through and pull the mace through. So just through like this. I don't know if you can see me from this side. So just plank and pull. Typically the mace for me, like the mace handle, will be between my feet almost. So I'm just sort of shifting the top of the mace back and forth versus shifting the entire mace itself. Because space-wise, that's harder to do. So I have it straight, kind of between my feet, and then just pulling the top of the mace. That makes sense. You can also do like a thread the needle one. This one will require space, so I don't know that everyone have the ability to do it. Let me angle my camera down a little bit more so you can see it better. This one's kind of weird. Um, so this one, you're gonna be in like a cat cow thread the needle position, and you're going to push through, up, and push out. But you're gonna go a little bit faster. So it's here, kind of up and out. And it's a little bit of momentum required. So through, pull, and then push across. Going slower is actually harder, like momentum wise, than going like a little bit faster. And it will also, I think, depend on your floor. If you have carpet, it might be a little bit easier to go for. But you're pulling it up with your arm and then pushing it. Go from this angle, see if you can see it better. Here, through, up, and then through, up. Good rotational core exercise. You have to be like at a very specific angle. Like I said, the flooring might not be like working with you. If you have like a yoga mat, I feel like that's going to be really hard to do it on. Like even my stall mat is a little bit too anti-slip for it to be super effective. But if you feel like a sock or something at the end of your mace, if it's something you really want to do, it'll be easier to manage. Then we have high plank rows. So high plank and row. Pretty straight. I think we can all, yeah. If you can do a high plank, you put it right underneath your body and then you do a row. Simple, not easy. Just focus on pulling the mace head versus in like the whole entire mace. Just pulling. It's okay if the bottom of the mace like stays on the ground. Great. The last ones I have are push-ups. Um, and I can't do any of the push-up variations, so on the replay there will be a link to a guy who's really good at them because they're basically one-arm push-ups. And I'm not physically able to do one-arm push-ups. They're like push-ups where you're like the mace is like this and you're doing push-ups off of them. And man, I wish I could. But that's above my strength level. So those are linked, so you can check those out when you get the replay. Um, but
29,
go ahead.
you can bench press 129 plus pounds.
I know, but I can't do a single arm push-up. It's different strength. It's different strength. I'm more than 129 pounds, so it's more weight on one arm. Yeah, maybe I should practice them. I can do regular push-ups, but not that one. But those are linked, so you can check those out when you do the replay. I know where my strength caps out. Cool. Let's do some talk about combos. Okay. Share here. I'll show you the combo things. Whoop. Wow, this is super helpful. Present. Okay, so creating combos. Um, Basically, you're just gonna take two movements that fit well together and alternate them. It doesn't have to be this like super complicated thing. Just play around with exercises you like and like combos that make sense. For me, some of my favorites, we'll hop in and try these real quick. Lateral lunge to curtsy. I think that feels just very nice. Full body movement. Swings to like basically anything feel great. Swing to the reverse lunge. We'll practice these as well. Lateral lunge to like a straight press. Ballistic curl to 360. 360 to archer. Um, it doesn't have to be like a whole like complicated thing here. You can just like find a movement that you like and be like, what would be really cool is if I could do a 360 between these. Like, and then you've created a combo. Um, so let me show it so I can see what I actually mentioned. Okay, so lateral lunge to curtsy is lateral lunge, and then as you're coming up, curtsy lunge or dragon lunge. Which you just take those two movements and it feels pretty natural. So lateral, curtsy. And then you're getting the whole leg working. So remember we're doing the lateral, push up with the arm pushed down. This back arm is going to push it into this straight position. And this. And you can also do it like this too. You can also do lateral lunge, switch. So there's no rules here, right? The swing to reverse lunge I find to be really, really nice, right? So swing and then reverse lunge. I'm realizing now that I'm like totally out of frame. The joy of online training. So 360, catch at the top, reverse lunge. Back, 360, catch at the top. And we're doing that double overhand catch, right? So we're in that good position. And really helpful because your hand's already off of it when you're doing that hand switch to go into the lunge. It's really easy to switch your hand for the 360. Looking nice. When you catch it, get that double overhand so you're getting that really nice, like, tight core in that back position. Hands a little closer together on the swing portion, too. This is going to be harder than this, Misty. Yeah. Here, and then here. We can also do the lateral lunge to straight press. This one's kind of goofy, but I like it. So you do a lateral lunge, and as you come up, you're gonna drive the knee and do a press. Lateral lunge, and then step up and press it overhead. You can also have your leg down, and then pick it up. Little full body combo. Get the elbow high up behind you too. That'll make it a little easier for that lunge. Yeah. A little bit of balance work. We love a little balance work though. A little more power based. You could do 360 to ballistic curl where you're throwing it into that position. Down and up. Nice. I know we're all getting a little bit tired here. We've done a lot of lifting for this workshop. It's been like a lot of it. So you're doing great. If everything doesn't feel great right this second, give yourself a moment to like practice it. You'll get the replay. You can run through all of this again. Um, and then we have 360 to archer if you want like all of the upper body work. So 360, and then you catch it, archer. 360, catch it in the under position, archer. That way you can do alternating sides versus all on one side. There you go. Main thing still with the archer is to make sure that you are creating that tension through the mace versus being all loosey-goosey with your upper body. Um, how are you feeling? I know we're almost through all the like actual exercising that you're supposed to do in this. I know it's a lot of lifts. All right. Let's talk about um the flows. Oh my Lord. You would think, oh my gosh. Full screen. There we go. Creating flows. Basically, flows are just sticking combos together. Or a lot of times you can pick moves where you're going from like, I want to do A, B, and C. How do I get from A, B, and C? Because obviously you can't like going from like a battle squat into an archer doesn't like wouldn't be super fluid, right? So what do we need to do to create a fluid like run of exercises to get from point A to point B? Um, and also like don't overthink it. Like just like with the combos, if you need to do a bunch of swings in the between exercises to get to everything, that's fine. There are no rules here. This is a flow. You're not doing a Mace flow competition. I don't think those even exist. Um, so if something feels good and it like works for you, hell yeah. That's awesome. Um, so let's talk about creating a flow. Are there moves that you would like to incorporate into a flow? We can build one out together. Any moves that we liked today that were like, hell yeah, that was a lot of fun, or I don't want
I
to.
I actually like that curtsy where you flip the mace up. I don't know.
Yeah, the with like I call it reverse grip. Like I said, if you're talking to somebody else, they might have a different name for it. So cool. Do reverse grip. Anything else? Anyone else want to throw a exercise that they liked into it? Doesn't have to be special. It can be 360s. It can be upper body, lower body. No? We'll throw an archer in there. And we'll do 360 because we like 360s and they're going to be in there anyways, right? We can do battle squat. Pick one from every page, right? So we got four exercises. Obviously, like a curtsy lunge into a battle squat is an unreasonable combo. So how do we get there? Um, so we know we can do a 360, and then we can grab, and then going from a 360 into this isn't supernatural, right? So what do we need to add in there? We can do maybe a 360 into the archer, and then bring it down and go lateral lunge, and then we can pop it into that curtsy, and then come up, 360, and squat. And then we have a flow, right? Let's see. How does that work? We go 360 to archer to lat lunge to curtsy, battle squat to 360 to bring it over, and then we'll do it again on the other side, right? So let's see if that works. Like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated, just be exactly what you want it to be. So 360 and nope, 360 into archer. Now we're going 360 into archer, add swing, lateral lunge, flip it into our dragon lunge, catch it, down, and battle squat. Right? And then we need to switch directions. So this time we'll go to the opposite side in our swing. Archer, lateral or 360, Nope. 360, opposite leg, and then curtsy, bring it down, battle squat, and we're back to the start. Does that feel like it flows, or is there anything that feels clunky that we could connect better in this? Or any feedback or any moves you're like, actually, I don't think this move works at all. And
No, I think it's fine. Is that a 10-pound mace?
yes, mine's 10. This is the first one I got, and is definitely still my most used one. Here's a 5-pound one that often gets stolen by my husband. And then my 22-pound, 10-kilo one that is mostly swings and lunges. Um, um, cool, let's try one more time. So we'll start with the swing going to the left, and then we'll start with the swing going to the right. And don't worry, I'll write this all out so when you finish, you do the workshop replay, you'll have it for yourself. So 360 down into archer, 360 into lateral lunge, kick it over into our curtsy, up, catch it, and battle squat. And then we'll go over our right shoulder. 360 into archer, 360 into lateral lunge, big step, curtsy, push it over into a battle squat. And that is a flow. I think like long flows obviously look really cool on Instagram, but when you're doing them like for like movement breaks, which is what I use a lot of Mace work for, that's perfect. Like that takes like what, 20 seconds to get through one side. You can just alternate that and get into a really nice flow without, ooh, it's gonna fall down. Um, without it being like a thing you have to like overly think about or stress about or um like have to be like write down all the steps. So you have to like check a whiteboard for every single thing, maybe the first couple of rounds, which I personally really like if I'm doing like a break flow. Um, any questions about the flow we've made or anything else about creating flows before we move on to the last little bit? Cool. Let's go back to sharing the screen. So I'll make sure we write down when you get the replay, just like when we did the juggling one, um, that you'll get the breakdown of that one. So if you don't want to watch an hour and 40 minutes of stuff to get to the flow part, you'll just have it available to you. Um, where you can incorporate steel mace, there's basically endless. You can use this however you want to use it for. The first way I started learning how to use mace was accessory work for kettlebell sport, because kettlebell sport is like very here. It's very in the frontal plane where you're tightened up here. So a lot of times mace is really nice to balance that out. So you don't end up hunched over like this after a couple of years of sport. You can also do steel mace. I don't know if it's a steel mace sport or if it's Gata sport. You can do like 10-minute sets of mace swings. Generally 10 to 2s, I believe. But you can train it like its own thing, just practicing steel mace at various weights. But they're usually like the really big ones with uh like lead loaded ones. I don't know if it's actually lead. Probably not at this point. But like the pellet loaded ones where you can kind of incorporate it and they're a lot longer. So the pendulum's a little bit different. You can also use steel mace as just like straight strength workouts like you've seen throughout the workshop today. you can have full body strength with the steel mace. Generally, they're a little bit lighter than you would see like a kettlebell. Like 10-pound kettlebell is like a lot less effective than a 10-pound mace, I would say. So incorporating it means that you have to be a lot more intentional with your movements. Like I've been kind of harping on this entire time, like creating that tension like in your arch or in your lunge. That is really, really important for like actually building strength with the mace. If you're being lazy with the movements, the muscles aren't going to come. Um, I also think that kettlebell and steel mace working together is really, really awesome. Like I love like a superset of kettlebell swings and steel mace swings.
Hmm.
Um, that's like a killer combo, full body strength. Like combining these two tools, I think they're really, really excellent complements to each other. And not like if you're just like just doing like swings, you can be like, I'm gonna do ballistic curls or I'm gonna do lateral lunges with the steel mace, and then I'm gonna do like reverse lunges with the kettlebell so you get like a little bit more weight on different planes of motion. Lots of different ways you can do combos between kettlebell and steel mace, like outside of just like kettlebell sport swings. Um, and then conditioning wise, I don't know, feel like all of our heart rates have probably risen throughout doing these sets. You can get your heart rate up pretty high, doing the swings, the ballistic curls, the other exercises that I'm blanking on that we've been doing for the last almost 2 hours, right? Like all of these, you can move with a little bit more speed. You can do things like EMOMs where you're having less rest or AMRAPs, and all of these things will help get your heart rate up, create some sort of conditioning outside of, the normal conditioning that you see. And the thing that I really love using the mace for is like movement breaks. I
Uh,
love like a little break from sitting at the desk. I feel like a lot of us spend our lives here with our shoulders kind of forward, and we're hunched, and this is the position that we live our lives in for driving and computers and work and TV. So having a 5-10 minute movement break where you're swinging, doing a flow like the one we just made, where it's full body, but we're opening up our chest, we're like moving on different planes of motion, can be really nice. And those can be like 5-10 minutes of just like doing a thing. And you can also do it where you don't have a plan. Like sometimes you just go, okay, I'm gonna take 10 minutes and swing a thing. And if you do 10 minutes of swings of like kettlebell swings, right? Your heart rate's gonna be crazy. You're probably gonna be super sweaty, right? And if you're in a work day, that maybe is not uh the best option. Because I presume people have normal jobs where they aren't supposed to be sweaty all of the time, like I am allowed to be in my work day. So like the mace is a little bit um less intense in that front. So you can use that as a movement break. Is there any other questions about like how we can incorporate it? If you have any specific questions about your own training, you're like, how can I incorporate this into me and what I'm doing? Throw it out there. I'm so happy to help.
So I
I,
guess a question I have, you've given a lot of individual exercises and so, basically I have to watch the replay and break it in little pieces. I mean, how do I put together, maybe this is a dumb question, but how do I put together, I just pick like two or three and work on them for a week or how do because I
Yeah.
can't do the exercise, obviously.
Yeah, I mean it depends on what you're like working on, but yeah, like I think like swings are always like the first thing to like focus on when you're learning how to use the mace. Um And once you have the swings, you're kind of opened up to everything that you kind of would ever want to do. But if you're trying to incorporate it like right now, I would focus on the swings and I would focus on like one or two of the like strength exercises that require a little bit less like thinking, right? Like a lunge, like the switch lunge or like the switch squat or one of the things where you can just do or like the battle squat. You're like, this is super easy. Like incorporate that versus like incorporating something that requires a lot more like mental load. And then you can focus on the parts of the swings that you need to practice on or any of the other exercises. And then you just incorporate it with the exercises that you're already doing too. Like
Yeah.
if you have kettlebell swings, maybe change one of the sets of the kettlebell swings in for mace swings. It's a different, or like do a combo, but like do like a superset. Like I said, that's one of my favorite supersets. So I'm gonna jump right back into that one. But or like a lateral lunge. I really love the lateral lunge, so I'll do that. And maybe do that in combo with like a steel with a kettlebell lunge, like feeling the difference in the how that movement works, where you're doing basically the same thing, but like with a different variant, can challenge your body and also like help your brain to make those connections between them. Like, oh, this is still a lateral lunge. I just like have to figure out what my arms are doing versus like just being in this rack position.
Sure.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, anyone else have any questions about anything?
Not so much a question, but I was noticing like it challenges your grip strength too, right?
Yes,
In a different
definitely.
way, and that's something I don't know, it's probably a more fun way to work on your grip strength than the thingy that you like.
Yeah, that or farmers carries all of the time.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, and like that's like literally that's why there's tape on this thing, right?
yeah,
Because it was so slippy. My grip was dying. I could do
yeah,
like 5 swings with it because I was sweating and slipping everywhere. It had never gotten blisters before um
yeah.
from them. So yeah, really great for the grip. Also another reason why if you're doing kettlebell sport, it's a really nice combo because grip strength is like the thing in kettlebell sport
Mm.
that you have to get good at. Otherwise you're gonna drop the weight, which nobody wants to do, right? Um, any other questions before we wrap up here? About anything. It doesn't just have to be about this part. If you have any questions about any of the things we've talked about or any of the stuff, cool. I'm gonna say we're all good then. Also, you all know where to find me if you do have more questions. Cool. So what's next? You can keep going on your own. Awesome. Like I think most of you have been practicing the steel mace on your own. If you would like feedback on the steel mace, like individually, I have form checks available on my website. I'll make sure all this is linked so you don't have to like go searching for it. I also offer one-off, one-on-one sessions you can book. And then I also have my like one-on-one coaching program, Fortune Flourish. So if you're needing like long-term guidance or want coaching beyond just like steel mace, I do all the things. I can build you an entire program. You get one-on-one meetings included in that messaging, send me videos whenever you want. And it's I think a really cool thing and I really love doing it. So if you want a little bit more attention, more time with me one-on-one, I would love to have you. So I'll make sure all of that stuff is linked. If you're thinking about it or interested, or you have any questions, feel free to always message me. Y'all know where to find me. Um, so thank you so much for being here. Like I said, if you have any more questions about this, working with me, anything with a steel base, feel free to drop me a line, here, email, whatever you need. But thank you so much for showing up on a Saturday morning or afternoon for you. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day and signing up for a thing and being here. And I appreciate everyone who's watching the replay. It's makes it fun for me. This is my favorite part of the job is like getting to like actually teach people
Yeah.
how to do things. So I love that people are here and watching and rewatching the replay. So thank you so much, and I'll see
Very
you.
helpful. Thank you.
I'll see you at the next one. And January is my next one. I'm gonna do
What's
a
that?
press workshop in January, so
Is it gonna
uh,
be?
be on the lookout for that one.
Be on?
What was that?
Is it going to be on?
Bent press.
Oh yeah, baby.
The bent press one is finally coming in end of January, I think. So
Awesome. Good to know.
yeah.